Cortez. I work with Just Food. I am their Farm Network Coordinator. I am very fortunate enough that in my job description, I get to converse with our farmers on a regular basis and even go up for a farm visit. Today I'll be facilitating this farmer panel. We are very lucky also to have them today with us. These farmers work with Just Food in one way or another and serve many communities in New York City, maybe even one that you may live in. So please help me welcome Kaplan-Walbrecht, Yonnete, Fleming, Thank you all for being here. I'd like to ask and start everyone off by please telling us your name, the name of your farm with the location, and to share with us what influenced you to farm.
My name is Kaplan-Walbrecht, and I farm at Garden of Eve Certified Organic Farm in the east end of Long Island. We are an 85-acre farm that's diversified. I could go into more about that, but what inspired me to farm is I actually grew up on a dairy farm and felt like I was never actually going to go back to farming because it was 7 days a week, and economically I didn't feel like you could support yourself or a family when I left. So as I worked as an environmental advocate for 10 years, I had a desire to get back to the country and get back to my farming roots, and I started to think and research ways that I could actually support myself, let alone family, and started selling at farmers markets and met Just Food, and started our first CSA about 10 years ago. We've been working with Just Food since. So is that pretty much it? Okay.
Perfect answer.
So hi, my name is Yonnete Fleming. I actually supervise the operations of 2 patches of farmland in the urban city. So it's about 3 or so acres in the middle of Bedford-Stuyvesant. I have been with that garden and actually working on the land for the last decade in the community where I live. What inspired me to farm? Agriculture is a part of my familial heritage. So it means that for every generation, there's someone like me who's sitting in the room. So I grew up watching my grandmother's farm, watching my father do hydroelectricity projects in South America, watching plantations, in other words, sustainability, making products and turning them, into viable products that can generate wealth. I started out about 10 or so years ago, but my connection to this farming work has to do with healing and the planet. So in other words, I'm really paying attention to the earth. I'm really paying attention to the people. I'm paying attention to the organisms and all aspects of it. So my connection to farming is really an act of stewardship that I balance with production.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ana Rodríguez. Yo soy madre de 4 hijos. Tengo mi esposo.
I couldn't hear you before. Hi, my name is Ana Rodríguez. I am the mother of 4, and my husband.
Just hold out and check in the area. That would be great. Whenever you get back.
Yo soy mexicana y nosotros creemos mucho en la unión de la familia y el trabajar en conjunto con la familia.
I am from Mexico, and I believe in the union of family and working together.
Para mí mi familia es muy importante, pero cuando yo vine a los Estados Unidos yo era muy joven.
Perdón, una vez más.
Que para mí, o cuando yo vine a los Estados Unidos era muy joven, la agricultura para mí es muy importante. Tuve 2 ocasiones que 2 tíos familiares cercanos murieron de cáncer, entonces yo siempre estaba pensando, tenemos que hacer algo para comer vegetales orgánicos, para yo traer a mis hijos, a mi familia y a las comunidades. Siempre estaba pensando que algo teníamos que hacer, porque regularmente los vegetales que comíamos eran convencionales.
That's a good one. Okay. To me, my family is very important, and I had the occasion where my uncle, 2 of them died of cancer, and it made me think I needed to grow, and I needed to grow organically, and this became something very important to her, and to be able to provide to communities.
La inspiración mía fue trabajar en familia y traer vegetales orgánicos a un precio que la gente pudiera pagar. Esa fue lo que me inspiró a ser una granjera.
Her inspiration for working is because of her family, well, to work with them and then to bring good prices to her communities.
My name is John Schmid, Muddy River Farm, New Hampton, New York. I was born on a farm. I hated the farm. The hours are long, the pay was nothing, you were dirty every day, and I said I'll never in my life ever go near a farm. So I went to school, and after school I did construction. I had a construction company. In 1992 I was laying on the table in NYU and they're pushing wires into my heart. I'm taking all kinds of blood pressure pills. And I said, it's either now, either I buy the farm figuratively or literally, one or the other. So I did it literally. So that's why I'm in farming, because I enjoy it now. I love farming. And it's still the same. It's a lot of hours and it's a lot of work and you're dirty at the end of the day. But after doing something else, it's so rewarding. The work is harder. There's more to it, but it's just rewarding. And to see the people that are benefiting from what you're doing, getting the fresh vegetables and enjoying them, it makes it all worthwhile.
They're all wonderful. Okay, it's time for our next question. So New York City has a population of 8 million folks, full of life, full of culture. There are many avenues to market, and to whom is it that you sell to? Be it for farmers markets, CSAs, food pantries? Why is it that you choose to grow for these communities?
We sell directly off our farm from a farm stand. We have a garden center. We started out selling at farmers markets, and about, I would say, 80% of our sales are through CSA. And we really like CSA because we like the relationship with the customer, and we like to be able to tell our story about the farm and have people come to visit the farm who really appreciate it and enjoy seeing our life and having a connection to New York City communities and Long Island communities. Was that it?
Why is it that these communities are the ones you enjoy selling to?
Yeah, we get contacted all the time by supermarkets, wholesale stores, and they want to buy everything they can off your farm because they want to market it as local and organic. And I think that's great and exciting that there is that demand for it, but again, we really like to have the direct relationship with the community and with our customer.
Over the last 3 or so years, because our market, the first market started in 2009. Prior to that, we were growing foods to liberally give away to people who stop by, because that was a community gardening format. But in 2009, we started a market and began growing more aggressively, I should say, with production in mind. Over the last 3 years, between those two markets, the farmlands associated with those markets have distributed over 40,000 pounds of food. We also have 50 chickens, so we're also distributing fresh organic eggs to our communities. The market currently has about 50 or so families signed on to receive weekly produce. So they come in, it's a sort of CSA idea, but because we are in Bedford-Stuyvesant, where a lot of our community can hardly pay the $2 to get on the bus, I'm wondering how viable it would be for me to start charging upfront fees for produce. So, because everything that comes into our community is tailor-suited to our community, it should not be like stretch bands where one size fits all. Every community should have their own niche, their own needs, based on the needs of that community. So, there's something else I have to tell you. Our markets and one farm is located on property that was abandoned for over 30 years. So it means that we have a lot of sweat equity in the development of those lands. So it's sort of revitalization work that we are doing. So it means then that the health of our community is of utmost importance to us. As the farmer and the founder of those projects, my total commitment is to create health in humans, with the animals, and with the soil. So I would say I'm a food justice farmer, because for me, growing food, distributing, eating, all coming out from the community, not the community being turned into a sort of consumer, but the community understanding all of the things that are involved in the preparation of food. So this is the angle for my work. So food justice to me is more of my lifestyle as opposed to something intellectual that I'm encompassing outside. It's more of how do we get people that are in low-income communities / fresh food deserts, this is what the government classifies our community as, how do we get those people mobilized and involved in revitalizing land, in realizing that soil health is important to human health? For you to grow nutritious food, it means that your soil must be containing those same nutrients that we're looking for from our food. So it's making that connection for me. So I would say the ulterior motive and the motivation for my work has to be justice. And as a woman, justice is important to me. Not that it's not important to men. It should be important to all of us. But the justice that we are seeking is not the justice system. We are seeking resources as a form of justice. We are seeking access to land as a form of justice. We are seeking healthy ways of raising our animals and our plants, even if we are in the urban city. And we're also interested in resources that have been stolen and returning those resources back to the people that they've been stolen from as food justice farmers. So I come to you from that place.
yo vendo mis productos yo soy parte de New Farmers Development Project que fue fundado por Green Market. Yo tengo todos mis marcas en parte con Green Market y también tengo mi CSA con Just Food.
I am an NFDP farmer. That's the new farmer development project, which started with Grow NYC. I sell at farmers markets on behalf. They're green markets from Grow NYC, and with CSAs, with Just Food.
Mi finca es una finca pequeña, pero nosotros no solamente pensamos en hacer dinero, sino también pensamos en dar comida a la gente pobre. Tengo 5 años de ser una farmer y he donado más de 20,000 libras de comida a Cedar Harvest, 1,500 libras a un grupo de alcohólicos anónimos que está en Corona, Queens, más de 1,000 libras a los food pantry.
My farm is small, but we don't only think of growing just to make a profit. We have other motivations. I have given about 1,500 to an organization that helps Alcoholics Anonymous, 20 million pounds in donation to food pantries. Bancos de comida.
20,000 pounds to City Harvest.
20 million. 20,000 pounds to City Harvest. And she'd be out of business. Perdón. ¿Quieres seguir o ya terminó? Okay. ¿Quieres seguir o pasar?
Okay.
¿Qué es lo que te influye a esta comunidad?
Lo siento. No, que yo también siento que las personas que no tienen suficiente dinero o personas que por alguna razón en la vida no les ha ido bien, merecen también una comida saludable en su plato.
She feels that people who may not have enough funds, everyone deserves to have food on their plate.
Jess, what was the question?
Well, it was considering that there's so many people here in New York City and different avenues for you to be able to market to. And if you could share, is it that you are a CSA farmer, farmer's market farmer, and maybe food pantry? So I believe you're all 3? Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, we have about 80 acres in Orange County. And we started in Green Market 1994, I think. We bought the farm in 92, I think 94. And we went to a market, started a market in the Bronx, which was by near Yankee Stadium. And the first day we went to the market, my wife and I went there, and we pulled in, it was by Poe Park. And of course everyone's in the homeless people are in the park, and it's quite messy and dirty. My wife said, let's turn the van around and go home. Now, of course, we see the news all the time, the shootings and this and everything. And I said, no, we're staying. So we stayed for the day. We still go to markets in the Bronx. We enjoy it. We have many, many friends in the Bronx. And what we found out from our experience is that even with all the bad publicity that everyone gets in the Bronx with the news, and the Bronx is burning down, and I believe Howard Cosell one time during one of the games had them turn the camera on one of the burning buildings or something back in the 70s. Well, anyway, we see this and we don't actually see the people. Now we see the people and we see that everyone has the same need as everyone else. except they don't have the resources to get it. So we keep going to this market. I also sell to the food pantries. I donate to City Harvest. I donate to other food pantries. I donate to food pantries where we live also. I feel the same as she feels, that everyone should have the right, and not the privilege, but the right to fresh food. Thank you.
Okay. Our next question. What is your biggest struggle as a farmer? And if applicable, how can we all as community food advocates help support you?
I think, when I think of struggle, I guess struggle is kind of a hard word. I grew up on a farm and worked very hard. It was difficult, but there's much greater struggles going on in the world. I think challenges that we face might be a better way that I look at it. And some of our greatest challenges some are personal and some are real issues that I face every day. Weather is a huge challenge. Flea beetles, anybody have them? They're one of my biggest challenges. Some diseases that we've been faced with, like late blight, and just being able to raise a family. That I would probably say is a struggle. Is the struggle between how much time do I give to the farm and how much do I give to my family. I have a 6-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. And as it gets to about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I could be working until 9, and I want to fulfill my commitment to the obligation that I have to provide food for our CSA, and I could probably name 5 things that I could do right then to make that happen. Either keep watering, or put down fertilizer, or weeding, or harvesting, what have you. But I'm also thinking, if I don't get home, the kids are going to be sleeping, and I need to at least spend an hour, to feel fulfilled in the day. So that, and then struggles in terms of long-term health is one. I think that farming is a very demanding occupation, and I feel great and I feel healthy, and I think that living in the country and working hard and getting a good night's sleep all contributes to that, but the reality is we all age, and I think I feel it. I just said to my wife the other day, not the first time, but I feel as a very athletic, young person, I don't always think of myself as being 45, and what does 45 mean? But to a lot of people, when their careers get to this point, you start to think about how you can provide when you're 50 or 60, 65, 70. And I think one of the hard, things with agriculture, and everybody deals with, having to do planning, but is how do you plan to keep the farm viable? How do you find and satisfy your workforce and try to keep, employees also happy in those regards, well paid, have them. We provide housing for a lot of our employees and apprentices, and we also provide health care. So every year we try to think of ways that we can, address, hardships or struggles, and so they go into every season how we face it. But probably the biggest struggle is to be able to walk away from the farm at some point in the day and try to maintain, a life at home as well.